Hey there, I'm Adrienne. Welcome back to Better Days Start Today. Today I want to talk about bringing magic to the mundane. By this I mean taking something that you have to do or even something you want to do and figuring out a way to zhuzh it up a bit. Rather than just doing something the way it's always done, maybe just accepting the normal way that it's done, you find a way to make it more enjoyable, make it more magical. I want to bring this to life by sharing a story with you. So I started 2025 with the intention of writing more, and not just in my journal for me, but writing more and sharing it with the world. I ended 2024 by doing the Winter Writing Sanctuary, which was a workshop hosted by the author Beth Kempton. And this month, I did the Write for Love, Write for Money introductory course to Substack that she does. I already have a Substack and I've had one for quite a bit, but I'm always interested in learning how wildly successful people operate in a space. And Beth is very successful on Substack. She's also a prolific author. Her work is absolutely beautiful. So I took the course, and between ending my year 2024, immersed in this winter writing sanctuary, starting my new year in that container, and then rolling into February doing the Substack class, I have been writing a ton, and I've been using prompts. I've been gathering inspiration from all different places, and it's felt really magical. I feel inspired in a way that I haven't in a long time, and I'm excited about it. For me, putting words to paper, just claiming the title writer, spending time excavating myself, writing down the truth of my experience, that's something that feeds my soul. And it has since I was a kid. So I'm somebody that loves to revel in my experiences. I bask in them. I drink every last drop of it, right? Like I love to just be fully in the thing. So I decided to play around with the idea of how can I revel in my writing. For me, it's not enough to just sit and write, though I do that every day in my journal. And I suppose prolific writers that are very successful would say that is exactly enough. Just put your butt in a chair and write. But the way I'm looking at it is if I'm doing something, even if it's something I'm choosing to do, it's something I love to do, I'm giving up precious moments of time. We all only have so much time, and none of us really know how much time we have on this earth. So every time we're choosing to do something, we engage in an activity, we're essentially giving our time to that thing. So if I'm going to give away moments of my life, even if it's for myself, it's to do something I love, I want it to be a magnificent experience. And this probably sounds over the top. But what's wrong with being over the top in life? If you're still with me a couple minutes in, you might be wondering, okay, how are you reveling in your writing? Let me tell you. I dusted off my Smith Corona Mark 8 typewriter, a Christmas gift from the early 90s. I set that bad boy up on my dining room table. And now this typewriter is a beast. She weighs in over 10 pounds, and though one of the main selling points of it is it's portable, I mean, it weighs over 11 pounds, so, portable-ish. I mean, it has a handle. Nothing screams more portable than a handle. But anyways, more than 10 pounds, I plopped this thing on the dining room table. I just want to bring you into this moment with me for a second. So I pop the cover off this typewriter. This hefty beast that she is. It was like I was in a vortex of my childhood. Like I was transported back to when I was a kid in the 90s using this machine. It was like I was sitting at my dining room table in my apartment that I grew up in, Connie Court in Charlestown, for anyone that might know what I'm talking about. And man, those were the days. Those were the days. I lived with my mom and my nana and my brother, and they're just the best. As I say this out loud, it's no wonder that as I'm, handling this typewriter, I immediately go to the dining room table because that is where I used it as a kid. So I take the cover off, and the machine is coated in this lovely layer of nicotine because anyone that knew my mom when I was growing up, she loved to smoke her Winstons, and my Nana, she smoked her unfiltered Camels. I mean, they smoked like it was their job in the house because that is what people did then. Who's going outside? Nobody. 90s were a hell of a time. But anyways, so this typewriter is like coated in this thin layer of nicotine. I'm pretty sure it was like a light gray, but it's kind of like a brownish, beige-ish sort of color. I could actually like smell the cigarette smell on the typewriter. It was faint, but I could smell it. I think the smell is what put me back in the space of the apartment that I grew up in. The thing is, when I received this typewriter for my Christmas gift, there was nothing more exciting than sitting down and putting my little hands on the keys and clackety-clacking stories onto the page. I would just release utter nonsense from my imagination onto these pages as I typed away. There was no editing. There was no worrying about how good it would or wouldn't be. There's no audience to critique my work. Just me feeling like Angela Lansbury. If you know, you know. Shout out to my Murder, She Wrote lovers. It's like I was Angela Lansbury writing the mysteries that I would, of course, solve, right? Like that's how that show starts, her on her typewriter. So I felt like that. I just loved it. I felt giddy. I loved using it. I loved getting it down and plugging it in and listening to that noise that it made when it started up and sitting there feeling like I was legitimately Angela Lansbury. I was going to write these amazing mysteries and become a best-selling author. That was my childhood fantasy, which I am an author, but not a wildly successful one at this point yet. But anyways, I loved it. It was magical. It felt magical. Being at that typewriter felt like anything I wanted to write or create was possible. During that time for me, it was, because I wasn't worried about anything other than just making up whatever I was making up, whatever story I was creating. And so in the couple sessions that I've had, being back at the keys of my youth, I have felt giddy. So when I sit down to write, I don't have my phone near me. My cell phone is banished to somewhere else, another room. There's no interruptions. Unless maybe my dog is feeling a little sassy, but otherwise, no real interruptions. It's just me and my words. Well, actually, I don't have an eraser cassette for it yet. So, if I'm being totally honest and accurate, it's me, my words, and the reminder of how poor I've become at proper typing. Because let's be real, autocorrect on a computer is a thing. Yeah, sit at a typewriter and type like you do on a computer, and it does not quite translate. I feel giddy sitting at the typewriter. Maybe that'll wear off at some point, but right now it feels so novel because if I'm journaling, I write by hand. But when I'm writing to create something that I'm eventually going to share with the world, sometimes I'll take those ideas from the writing that I did by hand, but I'll sit down at a computer and I'll write out that longer form article, essay, whatever it is. So to sit at this keyboard without a screen and just be immersed in the experience. Like it has this light scent. I did wipe it down, by the way, but still got this light scent. Even the ribbon itself, as the key hits it, you can like smell the ink. It is this total sensory experience. You have to press down harder on the keys. The key hits and it makes a loud noise. It's magical. I don't know how else to say it. So I share this story because one, I'm super giddy about it and I just want to talk about it to everybody. But two, it's a reminder that we can still make the mundane magical. If you're cleaning your house, maybe that's putting on some Pink or some Chaperone and dancing away to whatever hits you got on. Maybe it's if you have to or want to write and create something, you do it by hand with a gorgeous pen and you light a candle. Maybe you write by candlelight. Or you put yourself at a typewriter and it, has the scent and it makes noise. Whatever it is that you're doing, consider how you can bring some magic into it. When I've been sitting at the typewriter the last few days, it feels like I'm on this adventure because it feels like just something so unlike anything I've done in so many years. right? Like I have this wieldly beast of a machine, it can just transport me to this other time. And the thing is, it ignites this other version of myself. And I feel like in some ways, when it comes to creation, when it comes to sharing my work, when it comes to accessing the imaginative, playful side of myself that's super curious, I've made that bit of me small sometimes over the years. I feel like in the last few years, I've made a real conscious effort of bringing that part of me back to life. But for a long time, taking time and space to create just because it's fun and I enjoy it wasn't quite at the forefront of my day. So yeah, I just feel like, I'm transported back to this time where I was this other version of myself, where I was creative, I was curious, I was fun. I'm escaping my screen. And it kind of is just a reminder of the magnificence of our ability to imagine and to create and just bring to life whatever it is that you're doing in a different way than you normally would. So I want you to consider, where can you bring magic into the mundane? Where can you create fun? I want you to romanticize your life. I feel like that's kind of a cliche term, but romanticize your life. You deserve it. How can you look at this thing, this experience, and fall in love with it in some way? I want you to love your life. Like truly love your life. You're not going to love every second of it, but when you take a step back and you look at all of it, the ups, the downs, how you spend your time, who you spend your time with, what you put your focus on, like you love that. You love that creation in its totality. And I believe it is possible to love our life even when we're going through really hard times if we are intentional to create moments of magic. And if you're listening to this in real time, it is almost Valentine's Day. So court yourself, attract yourself, fall in love with your life, fall in love with yourself. I hope this has been helpful, and I hope you enjoyed the story of my magical typewriter portal extravaganza that is my mornings right now. It just feels really special. I hope that you can find a way to create that same feeling for yourself. So until next time, I hope you have an amazing week, and remember, your better days, they start today. Thanks so much for spending time with me on Better Days Start Today. If you loved this episode, be sure to hit that like button, subscribe to the podcast, and leave a review. It helps more people find this space and start creating their better days too. And hey, don't forget to sign up for my newsletter at adriancrowley.com. You'll get exclusive tips, tools, and access to complimentary events designed to support you every step of the way. Until next time, remember, your better days, they start today.